who strive to evade, grow stronger, and outlive the next attack. There are the predators, who live to track, strike, and devour. Each is racing to survive the day. Each is running to live to the next. Each is battling the other to carry on. And all must run the race of life. In this game, the winners have the best defenses. They might get out of trouble using supreme athletic feats, or they'll use extraordinary camouflage and lethal poison. Some stick to mesmerizing herding behavior, and others use cooperation and intelligence to survive. Many have vicious horns and hooves. From the frog to the hyena, from the zebra to the deer, these spectacular survivors use their finely honed defenses every day in their struggle to survive. The animals winning with the best defenses have learned how to conquer their ecological niche. Over countless generations, they have learned who their enemies are and how to defend themselves against them. Some need to protect themselves against the king of the beasts on the plains of Africa. Others need to fight against enemies almost too small for the human eye to see. And many need to avoid the lightning strike of an ambush. If their defense is flawless, then they will continue their fight to survive. This is one of the most animal-rich places on Earth. Millions of antelope, zebra, giraffe, rhino and elephant graze on the great grassy plains of Africa, which means there are also vast numbers of predators. There might be lots of prey, but there's ruthless competition to catch and keep it. The big cats get all the publicity, but there's one predator who's evolved a way to compete with them: the hyena. Hyenas might look like dogs, but they're more closely related to cats. They've been around over 10 million years. Hyenas are bone crushers. They are one of the few animals in the world who can eat large bones. This young female can smell something exciting. Her highly tuned sense of smell will take her straight to the target. It's a wildebeest carcass, probably the leftovers from a lion hunt. There's not much meat left, but for the hyena, that's no problem. She will eat everything: skin, horns and bones. Her massive jaws can crush with the power of a vice, and her unique large teeth will break bones with hardly any effort. This animal gains nutrition from food others leave behind. But that's not her only survival skill. Our hyena is part of a large extended family group called a clan. It is run by a hierarchy of dominant females. They mark and defend their territory. Hyena paste contains colonies of bacteria with a unique odor. Our female can recognize her territory through this familiar smell. Hyena clans are terrifyingly huge, up to 90 individuals. So when this lot launches an attack, there's no defense. The clan have brought down their prey. They will run and run until their prey is exhausted before they tear it apart. Lions and hyenas share the same taste in meat. Lions can be more than 3 times the size of a hyena. But when it comes to stealing the lion's food, the hyenas show no fear. A lion cannot fend off a huge clan of hyenas. Hyenas are some of the fiercest carnivores in Africa, with jaws and teeth to match. With defenses like this, they will win their daily battle to survive. Hidden deep among the swamps, rivers and lakes of the world is a little creature with a lot of character. He is excellent at defending himself, but he's not armed with massive teeth and claws. He's hard to see, but his sound echoes across our waterways. He spends most of his life in water, but breathes air, and he can't fly or sprint, but when it comes to jumping, he's a champion. The frog. Frogs are amphibians. Most frogs lay their eggs in water, and their young are born with gills. They come as small as a little fingernail, and as big as a man's foot. These distinctive animals have relatives all over the world, from the Arctic to the tropics. There are nearly 4,800 different species of frogs, but they're soft and small, so they're on the menu for many predators. They have a secret weapon. It lies under their body, spring-loaded and ready for action. Their legs. Frog legs are perfectly evolved for spectacular feats. Their massive leg muscles make up 1/6 of their total body weight. This Australian rocket frog is among the most impressive jumpers. A tree snake is keen to make a meal out of him. The frog kicks into action. The rocket frog can leap over 2 meters in one jump. That's 50 times his body size. Many of his leg and foot bones have become elongated for maximum springing power. His forelimb bones have been fused to cope with the impact of landing. Frogs have lungs, but they have a special trick for staying hidden beneath the surface of the river. They can extract oxygen from the water by breathing through their skin. But it doesn't always keep them safe from predators. A red-bellied black snake managed to strike in time. But the meal has one last line of defense. The frog's slippery skin makes him difficult to hold on to. Many frogs escape the jaws of death in this way, but not this time. Despite his athletic prowess, the frog was unable to thwart being eaten by this predator. Despite our ever-growing cities, the forests of the Northern Hemisphere are home to one of the largest herbivores on Earth. They are shy, but they will fight to protect their families. They range in size from a dainty 30 kilos to a magnificent 400. And all the males are powerfully armed. Deer. These grazing animals have evolved long, strong legs, so they beat the field in running, jumping and swimming. But the attribute that makes these animals strong defenders is on their heads. Antlers. For most deer, only the males possess these impressive weapons. They shed and regrow them every year. Even the massive antlers of the moose must be replaced. They can be over 2 meters across, but they can grow back in less than 5 months. Female moose select their mate based on the size of his antlers. Deep in the woods of North and South America lives a deer that's become a master of invisibility. The fawns are spotted to match the dappled spring sunshine. The white-tailed deer, although they can see and hear well, they rely mainly on their acute sense of smell. And of course their impressive set of antlers. Like most deer, the females do not have antlers. They rely on the dominant male to protect them from attack. And their brilliant art of camouflage. This fawn is distressed. He's lost his mother, but she's not far away, and they're soon reunited. He will stay with his parent until he's a year old. His sister will stay with her mother for 2 years. White-tailed deer eat a huge range of berries, shoots and vegetables. They can even manage toxic mushrooms and poison ivy. It's rutting season for the elk. Stags must compete for a mate. The antlers on elks can be over 1 meter long. So these fights for supremacy can get pretty serious. The stags with the biggest antlers and greatest strength will win. And for good reason. They will be needed later. The does have given birth. Fawns are well protected from predators by their camouflage. But if that fails, the dominant stag steps in. The elk herd continues to thrive thanks to its well-armed defender. The grassy plains of Africa are a place of contrasts, where the equatorial sun creates bright light and dark shade. The hunters and the hunted make use of these patterns to hide. Almost every animal out here has evolved a coat for camouflage. These adaptations allow big cats to stalk and small animals to stay out of sight. One animal has developed this camouflage to a more complex level. His color palette is not the fawns and golden shades of most animals here. The zebra. Zebras are part of the horse family, but unlike horses and donkeys, they've never been truly domesticated. This herd is mostly made up of many harems. 1 stallion and about 6 mares with their foals. The foals are dependent on their mothers for a year. Zebra stripes are not merely camouflage. They serve at least 3 other defense functions. Predators usually select a single animal before moving in for the kill. This lion is a risk. When a herd moves around, the black and white lines create a kind of motion dazzle. It's difficult to pick out an individual. The threat is avoided. The powerful sun is reflected by the white stripes, but absorbed by the black ones. This contrast creates air currents along the zebra's body, keeping her cool. The most bizarre function of the stripes is to protect against insect bites. These grasslands are buzzing with horseflies and tsetse flies. But for some reason, fewer flies attack zebras with narrower stripes. But the stripes cannot protect the zebra from crocodiles. The zebras need to cross the river to follow the rains and find fresh grass. They've been spotted. The zebras have no choice. It's certain death by starvation or the risk of swimming with the crocs. The croc has lost this time. Most of the herd lives to graze another season. The stronger zebras will go on to produce more animals with startling stripes. The world of small creatures is seething with thousands of battles to stay alive. It's a world full of animals with many legs and many eyes. A place inhabited by carnivores with giant fangs and lethal venom. And there are always larger animals searching and waiting in the hope of finding a meal. One of these small creatures sends so much fear into us, there's a phobia named after them. And they're so successful, we've found nearly 50,000 species, and are still counting. The spider. Spiders are arachnids. They all have 8 legs, an external skeleton, and most have venomous fangs. This trapdoor spider would be a juicy meal for a bird or lizard, but he defends himself by hiding underground. It's also the perfect place for catching lunch. It could be any unsuspecting passerby, a beetle, a cricket, or a grasshopper. The spider lays out tripwires along the ground. He then hides and waits. He lightly touches the ends of the tripwires from inside his hole. If a passing bug trips on the wires, the spider will be alerted. A cricket has just had a meal of forest leaves. The spider knows something's out there. The cricket moves closer. The tripwires are tight and almost invisible. The cricket is now right on top of the trapdoor, completely unaware of the danger below. But the spider doesn't strike. The cricket moves away unharmed. By some miracle, he has avoided all of the tripwires. The spider fails this time, but he's ready and waiting for the next unsuspecting victim. The most dangerous time for a predator is the fight to catch and kill its prey. Injuries caused by a struggling victim can be fatal. Spiders have mastered the art of defending themselves against injury in many mysterious ways. A flower, a petal moves. It's a crab spider. Like the trapdoor spider, she uses ambush to catch her prey. A lacewing butterfly is looking for nectar. The crab spider is perfectly camouflaged. The butterfly sucks the sweet nectar in a last moment of bliss. The spider strikes. She will wait until the butterfly succumbs to her venom before she moves in for her meal. Some spiders will do more than just wait for their meal. This bolas spider is casting out a lure. She's laced the lure with a pheromone that's irresistible to moths. The spider can swing her bolas for up to 15 minutes. A minor moth approaches. He's done for. The spider further entangles the moth in silk and stores him nearby for mealtime. But spiders are just as vulnerable to spider attack as other insects. A mother redback protects her egg sac. She doesn't know there's an intruder in the nursery, a Portia spider lying in wait. Within days, hundreds of spiderlings emerge. Despite their watchful mother, the Portia spider wades in for a feast of newborn redbacks. Many young will be eaten just as they are born. But enough will survive. The spider's chances of survival are a game of numbers, skill, and excellent defenses. The arms race of the animal world has led to defenses of almost infinite variety. From the vice-like jaws of the hyena, to the gunshot speed of the frog, from the strong as steel silk of the spider, to the hypnotic patterns of the zebra, and the awesome antlers of the deer. Defenses are the keys to living another day in the wild.
They say you only fear what you don't understand.
This is not a human trail that I'm following.
But just because you understand something,
This is a bear trail.
doesn't mean you shouldn't still be afraid.
I can't even run away.
Les Stroud leads an expedition into a harsh wilderness
Difficult enough to survive, let alone thrive.
to face down its most dangerous animals.
She's looking right down my lens.
Alaska's Grizzly Gauntlet with Les Stroud. New series, Mondays at 6 on Nat Geo Wild. They say bigger isn't always better. Tell that to these guys. America the Beautiful, the Mighty Northwest. Sundays at 6 on Nat Geo Wild. They're some of the most beautiful, most powerful, most incredible animals on the planet. And Nat Geo Wild is dedicated to protecting them.
The forest is disappearing. It's a sad story, but one that we have to tell.
Join us as we venture deep inside the wild places they call home and find out what can be done to save them. Mission Critical. New episodes every month on Nat Geo Wild. From subtropical Everglades to the Sonora Desert and everywhere in between. Nat Geo Wild takes you on a tour of America's most awe-inspiring places in this unforgettable new 6-part series. America's National Parks Compilations. Premiere Saturday, July 7th at 6 on Nat Geo Wild. On Nat Geo Wild, our fight night doesn't have any weight divisions. There are no timeouts to take, no rules to follow. It doesn't matter where you are, you better be ready to rumble. Or run like you've never run before. Don't miss an all-new season, Animal Fight Club, Wednesdays at 6 on Nat Geo Wild.
The sun rises. A new day begins. There are the prey who strive to evade, grow stronger, and outlive the next attack. There are the predators who live to track, strike, and devour. Each is racing to survive the day. Each is running to live to the next. Each is battling the other to carry on. and all must run the race of life. There is a dark side to living near a coral reef. Even the most colorful corners down here could be hiding something deadly. This is a world packed with predators. The lightning speed and pin-cushion teeth of the barracuda. The giant size and surprise attacks of the moray eel. The knitting needle spines of the lionfish, capable of injecting potentially deadly venom, and one of the most toxic animals on the planet. And a surprise angle on one of the more famous killers of the ocean. Not just any shark, but the reef shark. Tropical seas, warm, clear and calm. But something sinister lies beneath this glassy surface. The colorful fish of the coral reefs are one of nature's wonders. These predators hunt in schools. They gang up to herd smaller fish together for a feast. Their eyesight is sharp and precise. Adults come together to spawn and to hunt. These streamlined tigers of the ocean live in tropical and subtropical waters worldwide. The barracuda. The name strikes fear into people living in the tropics. There are around 20 species. Barracuda prefer to live near the sea surface. They spend much of their time hidden, waiting for their prey. This large adult is waiting to ambush a smaller fish. It relies on camouflage and short, intense bursts of speed. Once his prey is caught in these fang-like teeth, there is no escape. This smaller barracuda is staying hidden for different reasons. It is hoping predator does not become prey. Because stalking these waters is a giant barracuda. This big fish will not hesitate to take another barracuda if he gets the chance. This fish has an itch it needs to scratch. It's looking for a special place in the underwater world. A cleaning station. Despite the barracuda's hearty appetite, the little fish swimming close to her jaws are in no danger. The barracuda will not eat them because they are helping her. They are cleaner wrasse, and their job is to eat all the parasites and dead skin from the barracuda. The barracuda's teeth are sharp and irregular for maximum biting efficiency. From the moment they grow into fingerlings, these supreme predators are ready to hunt and kill. This small fish has no idea our infant killers are out there. Even baby barracudas can strike at incredible speeds, up to 40 kilometers an hour. Barracudas have been known to attack by biting their prey in half. Their aggressive attacks on their food give them a fearsome reputation as an ocean predator. One of the giants of the sea looks more like a snake than a fish. He comes in a beautiful range of patterns and colors. Despite his fierce-looking face, he lives a shy and secretive life. He spends most of his time in the safety of holes and crevices. But he is a carnivore and a very efficient hunter. His teeth are like rows of needles, designed over generations to bite into slippery fish. But at his best, he can be one of the most beautiful creatures in the underwater world. The moray eel. This giant moray is being cleaned. Just like the barracuda, it relies on other ocean creatures to clean its skin and mouth of parasites. Morays can be shy and are usually gentle and curious. The glorious colors and patterns on many morays are a wonderful wardrobe of camouflage. Even the brightest colors can be hard to spot among the rainbows and irregular surfaces of a coral reef. The little wrasse is cleaning a second set of teeth deep in the eel's throat. These teeth can shoot forward to pull prey down the animal's gullet. It looks risky, but the wrasse will not be attacked. This adult has come out into the open to search the reef and rocks for food. Her eyesight is quite poor, so she relies on a keen sense of smell to find a meal. Her graceful swimming style is like an underwater ballet. Most morays prey only on fish and other eels, but some species prefer a more dainty diet of prawns and shellfish. They evolved some 200 million years ago. This moray is making a meal of a fish carcass. Their backward-facing teeth are perfectly designed for tearing off chunks of flesh. This one is in for a feast, if it can break off a bite. This undulated moray is on the hunt. It all happens at lightning speed. These remarkable animals are skilled underwater predators that are both graceful and formidable. Coral reefs are rich in biodiversity, which could explain why they are home to one of the most aggressively invasive animals on the planet. This animal is a fish, and it is dramatically different from other fish. Its colors are striking, and its fins are graceful, but they also hide massive spines containing venom. This beautiful fish is so prolific because almost nothing will dare to eat it. It has spread to reefs all over the world with alarming speed. These striped invaders managed to colonize the Atlantic Ocean along the American coast in only 10 years. Their taste is described as sweet and delicate. This strange-looking fish can be as small as a strawberry or as big as a watermelon. And they're not shy. Not surprisingly, these fish have been given a range of colorful names. Zebrafish, turkeyfish, butterfly cod. But the name that most people use clearly shows how this fish is king of the tropical oceans. It's a predator with almost no predators. Other animals maintain a respectful distance from him. The lionfish. They have an array of colored stripes: white, black, orange, red or pink. It can precisely control an airbag inside its body called a swim bladder, and so it can hold its position at almost any angle. This collection of males and females are each looking for a mate. Adult lionfish only come together to breed. The rest of the time they live alone. The rapid strike of the lionfish is the most effective method for grabbing a meal. Despite her bright color, this lionfish is well hidden against the orange coral. She uses her fins to walk along the reef. She's stalking her prey. The ominous shadow of the lionfish is a warning to all. But not all the smaller fish have seen her. Lionfish live from 5 to 10 years, unless something eats them first. But given their impressive weapons, many of them live a long and well-fed life. The creature lying in these canyons lives an invisible, predatory life. Of the many strange animals on a coral reef, one is so strange he doesn't look alive. And he is the most venomous fish in the world. As we get closer, his outline may become visible. His incredible camouflage makes him one of the most effective predators in the sea. It's a fish that can make itself look like a stone. The stonefish. Stonefish have 13 sharp spines in their dorsal fins. The poison they inject can be lethal to humans. When they're buried in the sand, they're like a trap. Stonefish use shape and texture to blend in as well as color. Sometimes all that's visible is that fierce-looking mouth. Not all stonefish are dull browns and greys. Some add a brilliant splash of color to their wardrobe. Stonefish venom is stored in glands at the base of each spine. When attacked, venom is instantly discharged into the spines and injected into the attacker. There are 5 species of stonefish. They're able to walk on their fins, and they like to eat small fish and shrimps. This fish is completely unaware that danger is lurking beneath. If the stonefish is going to eat today, it will have to be faster. Got him at last. Time for the stonefish to sit back on the rocks and digest his meal. The classic underwater predator has a more approachable side. She's known for being the silent killer of the deep. Her silhouette strikes dread into every swimmer, both human and animal. But sometimes she's not as bad as she looks. This shark prefers to live in the warm waters of the reef. Yes, she's a shark, but she doesn't have the reputation of the bull shark or the great white. She's not as big, and neither is her appetite. These sharks often move in large groups. They are hunters with the famed speed and skill of all sharks. The huge bait balls of tropical fish are favorite dining places for these graceful predators. They sometimes work in teams to round up the fish. They have serrated teeth and an excellent sense of smell. These high-speed hunters are well-equipped ocean predators. They are reef sharks. Reef sharks are smaller than their temperate cousins and rarely grow more than 1.6 meters. A school of mullet or whiting may have attracted this reef shark feeding frenzy. Their huge numbers help the sharks feed. They can work together to herd the fish against the shore so there's no escape. These reef sharks are getting together to find a mate. The females swim in long S-bends to show they're ready to meet a male. Most reef sharks are not aggressively territorial, but they do have a regular home range that they will stay close to for months or years. These reef fish are in danger. A reef shark is trying to corner them against the coral. Tropical fish thwart the sharks by using colors and erratic movements to confuse them. But the shark is also a supreme athlete. It can twist and turn with speed to catch its slippery prey. These reef sharks have found a feast. Beneath the coral surface, a colony of crustaceans has attracted the sharks. It has also attracted other fish. Some are so excited they're using their snouts to dig deeper into the coral. Sunset, when the shadows are long and the shark disappears against the black rocks. He dives straight in, a catch in seconds. The taste of meat drives the sharks into even more of a frenzy. Now there are hundreds of white tips, all attracted from miles around by the excitement. The holes and crevices provide a refuge for the prey. Shrimps, snakes and fish are all pushing themselves deep into the rocks. This big eye has arrived at the wrong place at the wrong time. He's racing against the odds. He's fast and nimble. But so is the reef shark. For the reef sharks, feeding frenzies like this are a group event. And on nights like tonight, this predator is on top. Underwater predators have adapted extreme measures to hunt and to survive. The fish of the reef need to be fast to escape the barracuda, and wary to survive swimming near the lairs of the moray eel. They may be ambushed by the lionfish, the deadly beauty of the reef, or sucked into the huge mouth of the stonefish. And at every moment, they need to be on guard against an army of attackers.